What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well today. So, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about life. We're going to talk about life. And to be specific, I want to go ahead and instill my advice to the young people. When I say young people, I'm talking about from the ages of 18 to 22 years old. Why am I aiming towards those people? Well, it's pretty simple. The reason why I'm aiming towards the 18 to 22-year-olds is because you guys are going to go through college. A lot of you who graduated the class of 2026, you're on your way to college. You're on your way to university. Some of you already are in university. And I want to go ahead and save you the years and save you for the rest of your life. I don't know how long this video will be. Maybe it's a 10-minute video, maybe it's a 20-minute video, maybe it's a 5-minute video. I don't know. I'm 31 years old. I've probably lived a long life because I have done and seen and experienced many different things in my life that I can reflect back on and see that I made the right choice there. I made the wrong choice there. Anyways, I'm probably qualified enough to give you guys some advice and to probably save you years. And all you have to do is probably just watch this 10-minute video, right? So the reason why I don't want to talk to the 22 through 25-year-olds is because I already know the 22 and 25-year-olds, okay? 22 through 25, 26 years old, whatever, like that age gap from your early 20s up to your late 20s. I already know you guys are already jaded. You guys are not going to want to hear like what I have to say. You guys are all jaded. You guys are all politically brainwashed. You are. And it doesn't matter what I say. You guys are going to most likely disagree and say, it's this person's fault, that person's fault, that person's fault, this person. And honestly, I don't have time to talk to jaded people unless you're actually open-minded. Maybe I'll save a different video to talk to actual people who are actually open-minded. But for specifically the 18 and 22-year-olds, it's not too late for you guys. It's not too late because you guys are still new to the real world. And unfortunately, you've probably have had bad advice. Going all throughout your entire lives, you've lived in a bubble. You lived in a bubble between elementary, middle, and high school. And the only adults that you've ever essentially gotten wisdom from is from your own blood, which is your family and your parents. Now, by no means am I saying that your parents are ill will people. Your parents just don't know any better. But I'm going to go ahead and assume that your parents are the people that urged you to go to college, that urged you to go to university. Little do they know that degrees are pretty much useless today. I just want to go ahead and just be raw. Most degrees are pointless and worthless and obsolete. In my opinion, the only time you probably should go to college at this point is either you become a doctor or you become a nurse. Becoming a lawyer, forget about it. You want to become a lawyer? Well, you probably should give it up because the time that it takes for you to learn law in 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8 years, ChatGPT already knows it. Grok knows it, right? All these AI bots know law. All you gotta do is just ask it a question about law, and it'll spit it out for you in 20 seconds. You see how dangerous AI is, and that's what you guys are all hearing too. You're entering into college, hearing AI this, AI that, AI is gonna take over our jobs. So you're filled with anxiety already. You're not sure where your career path's at. And your parents are pressuring you to go to college. You're living underneath their roof. And I'm here to tell you, going to college is a waste of your time. And I'm going to get to what you should do instead. Don't worry, I'm going to say that towards the end, okay? But we just need to come to realization that college is a waste of time. I went to college for 3 years. I started at 18 years old, went through all the way until 21. I dropped out because I realized that then, before AI was a thing, before technology, all these tech companies started booming, before COVID, before all this, right? I knew college was a scam. I knew college was a scam. And how I knew college was a scam was simply the fact of the amount of debt that you're going to take on in order to go get a good career. That's how I knew it was a scam. Why sink yourself in the 50, 60, 70, 80,000, $100,000 into debt to go to a university just to get a secure job, a secured career, when that's not even guaranteed, right? I knew early on that nothing in life is guaranteed, right? You're not guaranteed to go to college, get $100,000 in debt. Once you leave college, you get a job, and a secured, good, high-paying job that pays off your college tuition, your debt, and you're able to live a good life and have all your expenses paid for. No way, dude. I heard that. I'm like, yeah. I wasted 3 years, by the way, before I found out, like, oh, well, this is a scam. What changed my mind? Well, I found out how much my field that I was going into, how much these people are going to are getting paid currently at that time. And I was like, wow, so I'm about to take on this amount of debt, then I'm going to get paid that much to pay off my expenses, my living expenses, plus my debt, my student loan debt. Oh, no way. So I quit college. I told my family. My family didn't agree with me at the time, but hindsight, going back 10 years ago, they probably thought I was a genius. But honestly, it was just pure luck of just saying, well, I don't want to be part of this because the risk to reward is just, to me, it's above my risk tolerance. Okay. So what do you do then? That's probably your question, because your parents are telling you that you got to go to college, you got to get a job, you got to work your way up into a good company and start a career and get a house and go into debt and continue to go into debt and more debt and more debt. You're living up to these expectations of other people. And I'm here to tell you that you should probably move out of your parents' house if they're going to pressure you to go to college. If they're paying for it, you should probably move out. If they expect you to go to college on their dime, right? And you're probably asking, well, how can I move out? Because, there's, the cost of living is high. It's all this and that. And here's a suggestion. So instead of going to college, go get your first job, any job. It doesn't matter what it is. Go get a job at McDonald's. Go get a job at 24 Hour Fitness. Get a job at, I don't know, Planet Fitness, or go get a job at a restaurant. Get a job that's a service job. And I know people are like, I don't want to work there because it's not a high-paying job, blah, blah, blah. Brother, trust me, you're going to save way more time than you think. Go get a job. Okay? Do DoorDash on the side. Do Uber Eats on the side. Right? Along with your job. It's enough money to get you by and save a little bit, okay? Now, go get a roommate. Find a roommate. Find one of your buddies. Tell them that I told you that college is a scam. University is a scam. You're going to ruin both your lives if you guys continue to go through with this. And you should exit the university route as soon as possible. As soon as you find roommates, find a roommate or two roommates, okay, to split your expenses, right? Once you do that, you live together, right? Once you're settled in, now this is the time where this is what I'm going to tell you. You have three options. If you want to make real serious money, okay? You want to make serious money, and towards the end of this video, you have to be open-minded to this, because by no means is your parents will think, oh, I'm crazy. Your parents are going to think, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But if you lived long enough, if you're my age, you know exactly what I'm saying, and you're probably regretting not taking the route that I took, which I quit college at 21. I'm 31 years old. I've made way more money outside of college than I would if I would have just stayed in. Plain and simple. Okay. Now, once, like I said, you're settled in, there's three options. Number one, okay, you're a young buck, you're 19, 20 years old, you have nothing better to do. You should be working like two jobs. Work a lot. Work about 60 hours a week minimum, okay? Now you're asking yourself, but why? That's a lot of work. Oh, I'm not going to have any time to play video games and hang out and chill with my friends. Well, my friend, here's the thing. you need to do it as quickly as possible. If not, if you don't do it as quickly as possible, you will regret when you're 30 years old, 40 years old. You should have done it when you're younger. Okay? Do it when you're a bachelor. Do it when you're single. Work 2 jobs, maybe get 3. Go get a service job. Go work at a restaurant. Do Uber Eats. Do DoorDash. Do Uber, whatever the case, and just work a lot. Okay? You're 18 years old. You have nothing better to do. Time is your asset. Okay? Now, once you start working, okay, you pay off your expenses. Hopefully, your rent is cheap enough to where you're living with 2 other people. Your rent's cheap enough to where, it's doable. All you got to do is pay for your car insurance, pay for your food. What else? A little bit of amenities. You got your gym membership. Train every day. Try to train, 3 to 4 times a week. Okay, keep yourself healthy. Drink lots of water. Okay, cool. So you get my drift, right? The most important thing you want from this is to save money. Okay? Save your money. Now, let's say all your expenses are about like $2,000 a month. Okay? Let's say you're working 60 hours a week. You work at, I don't know, Applebee's. You're a server. Okay? You work on the weekends. You get paid decently because you get tipped out pretty well. You make good tips. And you do a little bit of DoorDash throughout the week. Okay? So you make about like $4,000 a month. Doesn't sound like much, but stay with me, right? Stay with me. So let's say your expenses are $2,000 a month. That's your budget, right? That's basically your expenses, and you start budgeting. Okay, so $2,000, you make 4, you pay down 2, you have 2 left over. You save that money. Okay, you save that $2,000 that you have extra. You don't go out with friends when you have free time. You don't go blow it to go gamble. You don't do any of that. This requires discipline. Okay. Cool. Now do this for a straight year. Do it for a straight year, 12 months. Okay. How much money will you save in 12 months? $2,000 a month. You effectively have about $24,000 you've saved in 1 year. 24 grand. Stash it away in your bank account. Okay. Nice. $24,000. Now, once you have this money after 12 months of you working like a slave, fine. You got to do what you got to do. Next thing you want to do is take your $24,000 that you have saved up and you want to invest in assets. Okay? Now, we have Claude, we have ChatGPT, we have so much information out there. You need to do your own research and you need to find the right assets. You need to get into the stock market. Okay? You need to learn how to compound your capital. $24,000, that's your capital, right? You got to invest your money. How can you turn that $24,000 into 100 grand? That should be your question. How can I turn my $24,000 into 100 grand in like 5 years? Okay. Or even less, right? You got to ask those questions to Claude, ask those questions to ChatGPT, right? Learn how to invest. Learn how to invest. Watch YouTube videos, soak it all up. Watch multiple videos, thousands of hours if you can. While you're doing your DoorDash, while you're doing your Uber Eats, learn how to invest. Learn the psychology of investing. Learn how Warren Buffett talks about investing. Invest your money. Invest, invest, invest. Okay? After about a few years, once you've grown your capital from $24,000 into $50,000, $70,000, and on top of the money you're already saving from your 9-to-5 jobs, right? Your service jobs that you're working at, right? You should at least have about 100 grand, like in 5 years, from the money that you're making at your 9-to-5 plus the money you invested in the market, right? In the stock market, okay? Once you have about $100,000 you've compounded, right? Then you want to learn how to trade. Learn how to trade. What's trading? Trading is when you are essentially buying different assets throughout the stock market and you're buying low and you're selling high. That's what trading is. You're trading, you're risking your capital to make more capital, right? Learn how to trade. There are multiple YouTube videos out there. There's multiple YouTube content out there of how to trade, right? How to do all this. And I know I'm just basically just I'm just summarizing it because it's easier said than done. It's going to require a lot of time. But I'm telling you right now, you will get further in the next 5 years than you would if you spent 5 years in university. Trust me. Trust me. You will see results, my friend. Because you will graduate 5 years from now, you will graduate with $100,000 in debt, no job, right? Versus if you just work your tail off for the next 5 years, okay? Your first year, you just need to work like a slave. After that, you can go to, start working only just 40 hours a week. But the first year, you really need to build that capital. You really build that nest egg, okay? Now, if you're single, you still want to do these, these 60-hour weeks for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You really want to get ahead? Okay, cool. The more the merrier. That's awesome. But at least your first year, you got to do that. And then the second year, you got to invest your capital into the stock market, okay? This is what I did. This is exactly what I did. Okay? This is exactly what I did. And I'm telling you right now, I don't regret it. I do not regret it at all. Matter of fact, I am on a crusade. I am on a crusade and I am hungry. I am ambitious because I have plans. I have goals, not for myself, but for my family. That's what motivates me is my family. Okay? The closeout. I want to go ahead and close out this video. I see a lot of these parents who are millennial parents. I guess I'm a millennial, right? Millennial parents who are setting up their kids to fail. Now, it's to no fault of their own, but the parents should definitely be more educated and give better advice to their kids. But most of these millennial parents are just so out of touch with life because they're so focused and distracted with consumerism, and they complain that their debt sucks and they have so much debt. This is why I'm not talking to the 25 and 27-year-olds because they're all jaded. They're all jaded, right? Sorry. They're not going to take my advice. They're not going to take my advice because they just hate their lives. They're going to say their job sucks, which it probably does suck. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's just a poor attitude. You got to work with what you have. You got to work with whatever hand you are dealt with, right? You're always able to work with whatever you have. And that's just my thinking, dude. That's just how I live my life. What's the cards I'm dealt and how can I maneuver them to favor me and my family? So my family motivates me because I will be extremely regretful on my deathbed once I have my own family of kids and I set them up to fail. I set up my kids to be sheep going through the slaughterhouse of university. And I will not allow that to happen to my kids. So, if you guys were my family, my kids, and if I had to give you advice, do not waste your time going to university. Do not waste your time going to college. Do exactly what I just said, okay? And that's 3 steps. 1, work like a slave the first year, work like a dog, 60-hour weeks, okay? Save up 25K. Once you save up 25K or 20K, 25K, okay, that's a decent amount of capital. Then you're going to invest that capital into the markets, okay? Now, before you invest into the markets, you have to do your research. You have to do thorough research of what you're going to invest in. That's going to be the hardest part, okay? The easy part is the work. Going to work, labor, all that is the easy part. But to invest your money, that'll be the hardest, not because of how to invest. It's not about how to invest. It's about what are you attracted to? What kind of stocks are you attracted to? What kind of assets are you a commodity investor? Are you a tech investor? Are you, a crypto investor? Like there's so many different types of markets and that one is going to be more tailored to you. You have to educate yourself on what you want, which market you want to go towards. Okay. Anyways, 20-minute video, long video. I hope you stuck around for most of it. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your night, guys. Hope you learned something from this. Have a good night. Peace out, guys.